Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Beyond the Gatekeepers. I am Bishop Vanessa M. Brown, your host and moderator for this evening. So very happy to have you all here with us on tonight. We are grateful for your presence, grateful for you being in the room. Thank you to YouTube and to Facebook and to Instagram and to all the places where we can be found. LinkedIn. We say welcome, welcome, welcome to you all on tonight. And we see you all. I see you all coming in, coming in, coming in. You know that actually they always do us a big favor and make sure that you're going to share. Make sure that you share with someone that's going to need to hear this conversation. I promise you that it's going to be a very, very powerful conversation. And so we want to make sure that you are sharing on tonight. We have a great guest. We have some great things coming up to let you. We're not going to tell you everything, but of course, you all know that have been following us for a while that we're celebrating 5 years. So we did our very first show like the last week in April. So we usually start in May, celebrating 5 years of being on and giving you the best that we have of theological reflection, current events, from a justice-informed and theological lens. And you all have been great supporters of us. And so much so that you are helping to increase our visibility. We are very, very happy about what is to come and grateful for your presence. I want to make sure that I can shout out where people are from. So make sure that if you're saying greetings or you're saying hello to us, that you put down what city and state that you're repping so that I can shout you out wherever you are calling in from. And so I want to make sure I can do that tonight. We have Albert Reed from Colleen, Texas, Chuck Hunt from Monroe, Louisiana, and Diana Rodriguez from Portland, Oregon. We say good evening to you all. Diane, we have Constance Seifert. I want to make sure I said that right. Constance Seifert on YouTube. Thank you. Yes, YouTube is in the house. We're grateful. Yes, YouTube is in the house. Thank you so much, Constance, for being on. And of course, Reverend Dr. Marilyn Pagan Banks, Chicago, Illinois. Buenas noches, familia. Great to see you here. God bless you and the great work you're doing in the city of Chicago. Deacon Sugar Bear is on. Greetings to you. Leo is on Instagram. Thank you for being on. Leo, share it with other folks so they can see it on IG. Thank you so much, Leo. Reverend Dr. Jamie Edie Chisholm, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Sugar Bears from Oakland, California. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good evening, Bishop Levi Richards. God bless you. God bless you. Glad that you're here. Gary, Indiana is in the house. God bless you. Karen Coleman, Boston, Massachusetts is here. God bless you, Reverend Karen Coleman. Reverend Erica Geralds, God bless you. Atlanta, Georgia is in the house. Sherry James, Reno. God bless you. El Cerrito, California, Deacon Sugar Bear. God bless you. Dave Becker, DeKalb, Illinois. Glad that you're here, Dave. Nancy Kingwood, Reverend Nancy Kingwood, doing great work in the tri-state area, particularly in Bridgeport, Connecticut. God bless you, Reverend Nancy Kingwood. Darlene Connell, God bless you. Queens, New York. Glad you're here. Bishop Diana Williams, greetings to you. Marilyn is in the house. Pastor Siegfried Benton is here with us. Temple Hills, Maryland. Thank you. Cheryl Robinson Moore. God bless you on YouTube. O'Fallon, Missouri. Herbert S. Jones, Boston, Massachusetts. Glad you're here, my brother. And Brenda Harris is here. Bishop Brenda is here from Hampton, Virginia. Welcome, welcome, welcome to you all. Kim Kendrick is here. San Francisco Bay Area in the house. By way of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. We're going to still rep you in on the East Coast too. God bless you. All of you all that are joining in tonight, we say God bless you and welcome. And let's get this going. Kamal Hassan, Reverend Kamal Hassan, Green Bay, California. God bless you. Thank you for being on. Y'all do me a favor and keep sharing. We want to bring in our bishop. So much. We're so grateful for her presence. You all know that she is the presiding prelate, the founder and of the Fellowship of Affirming Ministries. And we will be celebrating 25 years in July. And she is the senior pastor and founder of City of Refuge United Church of Christ. And that means something. We're grateful for your presence, Bishop Flunder. Good evening tonight.
Well, good evening. It was, sometimes it's just one of those days,
I
things
understand.
can pile up, and
Mm-hmm.
there's so much happening in all
Yes.
of our atmosphere that we have
Yep.
to be present for. But I have to say,
Yes.
God is great and greatly
Yes.
to be praised.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
I still believe. And I
Yes.
want you to know that I am tickled thrilled about our guest tonight. To say the very,
Yes.
we've done some real good trouble together for
Mm-hmm.
many, many, many years. We just look
Yes.
good. We old, but we just look good. That's what it is.
Mm.
And I'm
Yep.
so happy to be able to share with you tonight, Bishop Vanessa, to talk about the
Yes.
things we need to talk about and to
Yes.
in, not only talk about it, but engage one another and expand.
Yes, ma'am.
When two or three are gathered together,
Yes.
touching anything, I believe that. God will be
Yes.
in the midst of us. And if
Indeed.
there ever was two or three that need to touch some,
Mm-hmm.
it's the two or three that are on here tonight. So I'm very,
Indeed.
very grateful. God bless all of you who are a part of us. Let's talk about it and pray about it and then do something about it. God bless.
Yes, ma'am, Bishop. And before we bring on our guest, Pastor Elizabeth Ann Jefferson is on with us. Amen. City of Refuge, Oakland, California. God bless you, Pastor Ann. Dolly Howell Pankey is here with us from Birmingham, Alabama. Edwina Perez Santiago is here with us from Fairfield, California. And we are grateful, grateful, grateful for your presence. Sherry Amore, God bless you. Thank you for being on, Sherry. And we know that others are going to come in because you're going to help others to come in to be a part of this conversation on tonight. And so, without further ado, she is no stranger. She is a friend to our bishop, to our fellowship, to me, amen, to the work of the movement. And she don't mind saying what needs to be said. I love her so much. The person of Reverend Dr. Pamela Lightsey. She's the Vice President for Academic and Student Affairs, Associate Professor of Constructive Theology at Meadville Lombard Theological School. And so we say good evening, Reverend Dr. Pamela Lightsey, and welcome. Will you greet our audience tonight?
Good evening. I was just listening to you giving all the shout outs, and I was saying to myself, wow, they've got a lot of great people. Many of them whose names I know, and they're coming from, they're tuning in from all around the country. And that's just such a blessing. Just a blessing. That says a lot about the work that you're doing, Bishop Vanessa and Bishop Flunder. I'm just, wow, you all are doing it. And Reverend Sue in the background.
That's right. She handling it. We appreciate it so much. Thank you
She's a
so
gem.
much, Dr. Lightsey. Yep. Yeah, she's the tech guru, and
Yeah.
we appreciate all of the good work. If you need something, contact Kara Solutions because that's where you want to go. She'll help you. She'll hook you up. Right. So we got a great conversation in store for you all tonight. Pastor Erica Smith Maynard is here. York, Pennsylvania. Colette Walker is here. St. Louis, Missouri. Joanne Ludy is here. Falling Waters, West Virginia. So they are here from, listen, Falling Waters, listen, they are here even from West Virginia to hear about this conversation. And Dr. Lightsey, you preached a very, very powerful message. Marvin K. White, Bishop, is on IG. Pastor Marvin, God bless you.
Right.
God bless you,
Yes,
Pastor Marvin. Want to set it up. You preached a message in 2017, to be exact. And that's how you just been supporting us for so long, but you came and you preached, and I mean really preached during this time. I believe we were in New Orleans or somewhere like the Atlantic City.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when you got up, you said the presenting problem.
That's it.
We was looking at each other. All right. I said, okay, it's going to be something in this room. But you don't have to set this conversation up. Our dear precious Pastor Sue found the clip. And so we're going to play it so that the people can hear what you're talking about. So we got about 3 minutes of this. Y'all pay attention.
because during one of my undergraduate psychology courses, I learned a term that just stuck with me. Okay. And it stuck with me because it describes several situations that I encountered as a minister. And clergy and bishops, you all will understand when I speak about it. Quite frankly, this phrase describes some of my own stuff as well. Let me tell you what the phrase is. The term is called a presenting problem. A presenting problem. Now, I'm going to unpack it.
I know.
As I looked at this text, this report, this is a report of a dialogue between a prophet, minor prophet, we call him minor prophet, and the Lord. And I'm moved by this idea of a presenting problem that's taken before the Lord. This is the presenting problem is this kind of chief complaint. It's what you walk in the door with. Counselors, you ever counsel someone, they walk in your office and they sit down and they tell you a whole bunch of stuff, and in your head, you're saying that's not it. They just give me a whole bunch of fluff right now. But that's not it. That's not it. That's not it. They walk in the door and they have a whole bunch of things, particularly about somebody else. They always speak to the deacon, and the deacon never speaks to them. You know, they have all these problems about the choir. The choir never sings the songs I want the choir to sing. The drum player's playing the drums too loud. Matter of fact, why we gotta have drums in the church is aggravating me. This is fluff, y'all. This is the presenting problem.
Come on.
And you have to sit there and being good pastor. Chicago taught me differently. I learned to do some different things with presenting problems. But being a good pastor, I can't.
I do know you.
You sit through the presenting problem.
Yes, God.
In order to get to the real thing. Okay. And what intrigues me about the text before us today is that the prophet appears before the Lord with a complaint, a presenting problem, a chief complaint taken. Think about this. Here is a prophet who is taking a complaint before the divine doctor who knew the entire situation before it would even be uttered off of the lips of the prophet. And yet and still the prophet goes before the chief divine doctor who doesn't even need to practice. God doesn't even need to think about what is. God knows. And so he takes his complaint before the divine doctor. He takes his complaint before the divine counselor who's already done the analysis before Habakkuk even knew that a problem existed. And despite our image of our own righteousness, friends, despite our own image of our own sincerity with God, don't you know that every conversation we have with God is because of our own, and because of our own human imperfections begins with a presenting problem?
I hear you, preacher.
Every conversation we have with God, because of our human imperfections, begins with a presenting problem.
Listen, one thing is for sure, we're going to support the preacher. I can hear Bishop Flunder. I can hear Bishop Flunder, and I can hear me and a couple of other people. I know who their voices are. We're going to support the preacher. We're not playing around. Okay?
If they're saying something.
Listen, for real. A powerful message, right? And there's other people who have just come through the door. Reverend Michael 80 is here with us, Santa Fe, New Mexico. Reverend Kim Crabtree, New Jersey, is here with us. Montclair. Bishop Sonia Williams is on, Atlanta, Georgia. And on YouTube is Brother Jonathan Harlow. Thank you for being here with us. God bless you. In a presenting problem, You engage with the idea of diagnosing the symptoms versus addressing the root causes of oppression.
Mm-hmm.
How does this align with Black liberation theology and womanist theology? Womanist theology's call to move beyond surface level fixes.
Yeah, let me just say, can I just say something here about that sermon?
Please. Yep.
I'm still fearful of that sermon. And I'd say that I'm saying in a kind of reverence with that sermon, because I said some things during that sermon that weren't on that manuscript. We were talking about the fresh wind of God. You remember that, Bishop Flyer? And the Lord was just moving in that sermon, and had moved with Dr. Renita Weems the night before.
Yes.
And when I wrote that sermon before I got to Atlantic City. So I was just astounded that it just flowed so well with what she said. And presenting for me as a womanist among my own people, we can tend to be so shallow when we're thinking about a problem that we don't dig under and find out what is the root. What is the root cause of what is going on? Mm-hmm. And at the time, I was really, this was the first election, the first time that the current person in Washington was elected. Mm-hmm. And I was concerned that we were handling that election on a very surface level without really thinking about everything that was behind why he was actually there. We were angry with the man, you see. We hadn't really thought about what it meant, and all of the minions who were supporting him, and all the money that had flowed into the campaign to make what would happen. This wasn't too far after we had that the Supreme Court had allowed what was it, Citizens United,
yes,
which allowed more money into presidential campaigns than ever before. So here we are, angry with someone, and the people behind him were plotting not just for the election, not just for him to win the election, but for the kind of legislation that was going to hurt the country for decades to come. And my concern as a scholar is that we not just look at what is the obvious, but that we dig in and look at the root issues there.
That's good.
And our root issues in our nation, when it comes to oppression, has always been capitalism. Democracy has always been capitalism, and has always been corrupt regimes. Corrupt regimes which allow for a king like Jehoiakim which allows now for someone like Trump to do what he is doing. He doesn't have the knowledge. He doesn't have the expertise to do all the things he talked about during the last tenure. But from the time he lost the election to the time that he was reelected, there were people working and fleshing out and polishing up that act, polishing up what he failed at the last time.
Absolutely.
And
2025.
Right. My concern at that time was that we not just look at what seems so obvious, but we think about the future and look at what was going on behind the scenes. I also felt that same way about, I had a lot of problem with George W. Bush. I thought he was the worst president ever. And I think I said that in the sermon until we got a Trump.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Thank you for that. And I think that everybody has to keep their eye. Sometimes you can't, Trump is being propped up by other people. but other people are telling the story. Elon Musk is telling the story. Steve Bannon is telling the story. I watched the whole video of Steve Bannon saying everything they're going to do. 200 days of thunder. We're in the midst of that's what we're every day. His assignment, talking about the president, is to bring something to us that will shake us, that will alarm us, that will try to move us from our center. That's his job for the first 200 days in presidency. We're busy looking at the first 100 days because that's what we do. We've done that, you know what I mean? Every presidential election, look at the first 100 days. He's telling us that for 200 days, there's going to be something, right? Erica Gerald says it's terror. Absolutely. Terror, right? And so you moved us, and I'm going to let Bishop Fonda talk to the next question. You moved us right to it, Dr. Lightsey, and it's the politics of the presenting problem, right? So there's a rise of Christian nationalism. It's increasing and it has influence in the policy making. We see what's happening in our schools and prayer and this and that, all these different things that they're trying to do, right? Within our school system, the education system. How do you see the presenting problem manifesting in today's social political climate, right? Particularly in the suppression of voting rights, the weaponization of religion, so many different things.
Is that for me?
Yes, ma'am.
No, go right
ahead. We go in with our mindset on a problem that we think is horrible. And generally that comes from us, our own personal anger, our own personal hurt, but we do not expand it beyond what we would call the particular of us to the more general, the more broader spaces of other people. So beyond my sphere of thinking, beyond my own personal hurt, there are children who are yet to be born, who will suffer if they can get more. There are children who are here who are in danger of having some disease. We're thinking about measles. For me, measles is a presenting problem. It's horrible.
Yes.
It's horrible. Measles is horrible. It should have been taken care of, but that's a presenting problem.
Yes, it is.
Beyond that, and see what they're doing in the sciences, see the way they're pulling back things. Look, we're not too far from having to put on full body suits to protect our own physical well-being, because they have no regard for science. They have no regard for medicine. So measles is just the tip. That is just the tip. Yeah, that's what I mean by that. Look beyond it. We're looking at Elon Musk. Elon Musk wasn't even on most of our minds.
No, he wasn't.
But he was in the cut years back. This man is from apartheid South Africa, and we thought he was a good guy. You see, he presented himself as a good guy, but this is a man who's been setting himself up to run the United States of America, and not even as a citizen of America, but to run it because he's a billionaire. And he saw the gaps in our political system. And so if we're really going to think about the future, and this is how I see the presenting problem, not the obvious. I'm talking about bad. Now, we should be angry about, measles, but we got to be angry about a full system that is attacking us on the front of science, education, and we're angry about what's going on with the Department of Education. Look, don't just the presenting problems that people are being laid off, at the Department of Education. And some people, and the other presenting problem, I'm going to tell you the other presenting problem with the Department of Education is that the babies won't be able to get student loans.
Correct.
Most students in schools across our country have some form of student loans.
Yes.
Over half of the students in school have some form of student loans. That's horrible, but that's the
Yep.
presenting problem.
Mhm.
Yes.
The bigger problem is the dumbing down of America in such
Yes.
that we cannot compete
Hmm.
places like China.
Yes.
We don't have the wherewithal, the sciences to, excuse me. We don't have the science to do their work.
Right.
That's right. That's right.
Take your time. Yep. Go ahead, Bishop.
I want her to get
Go
that
on.
sentence out. I want, I want her to get that sentence out.
There she go.
Yeah, excuse me.
No, go ahead.
If we do not have the science
Yeah,
to do the work, we cannot protect ourselves as a nation.
that's right.
Yes.
So it's our security. It's not just our education.
That's
It's
right.
our national security. That's what I'm. That's what's at stake here.
I
with
got it.
inclusion.
Yes.
Let me offer a couple of things that I have
Yeah.
been definitively musing about for the last several days. I have a series of videos where a number of people who are currently in Congress had the season of hating Donald Trump during the time that he was running, the first and second time that he ran. And they all had long diatribes that were, I would say, curiously succinct and right and clear about his history, his past, his intention, his unreadiness, the ways in which he had done so many and planned to do so many things, almost to the person, all of which now have a completely different something to say. Same people, same person that they're essentially talking about, but like overnight, they suddenly became his buddies. So the back end of this for me made me ask the question, how did he become pure in the eyesight of these people who vilified and demonized him? And I mean vilified. And I mean demonized him, especially when they were running for president. They came up with some stuff. And I realized that there's an intention. There's something that is being offered to just about every layer of our nation, either offered or threatened. And whoever did the work to either make the offers to the billionaires in terms of what they could get, but also simultaneously to threaten the people that didn't come along, includes the Congress, which is because these are our elected people. And we say, well, the Democrats can't do it because they don't have the numbers. The Republicans can't do it because they don't have a conscience for it. It is amazing to me how completely changed and shifted these people were. And I wrote a note to myself, we are given a problem every day that Donald Trump wakes up. Every single day, we are given a problem. We're going to do something to Canada. We're going to do something to China. We're going to do something to these folks. We're going to do something. We're going to do something to the transgenders. We're going to do something to the schools.
To the Veterans Administration, every day is something.
Every day. And most of what he's talking about is not something that is actually going to happen. Now, some of the things will, because Congress is simultaneously incapable of pushing back. Now, I've seen them push back. I know what they can do. But suddenly, they won't do it. I am curious to know, for the ones that I know by name and conversation, how they lost the steel in their backs and why they cannot say, what did they offer? What is the thing that they even but that they either did the work and have made the people afraid to know. Like one of them had way too many different kinds of sex things, and he did max. He wasn't able to go any further. But there's a whole lot of others. So I lay that out there, and that the energy is in reacting, not in acting. That's what we're supposed to wake up every morning and talk about what he did all day until the next morning that he does something else. Not what can we do, but what did he do? And then we offer just one other thing. We have been given a problem daily, even if it cannot happen. We don't realize it's not happenable. That's the flunderism. It's not happenable. But because he did it, again, our consciousness gets caught up in that, such that we are not able to do anything on purpose for ourselves. I was blessed when I saw the march, the Pettus Bridge.
Yes.
It did bless me because it brought me back to, it sounds like perhaps our people are being motivated to listen less and do more. I can't say what will ultimately come of it, but at least a pack of people were there to have a say-so. Before somebody came the day before and said they better not cross the Pettus Bridge. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. And maybe somebody did say that, but the people did it anyway. Anyway, in spite of the potential negativity. And Bishop Vanessa, the internet is full of bots. I got some really good bots on my stuff the other day. Somebody got mad at what I said, and then a whole bunch of people, about 50 of them, all got mad at what I said. You understand? And I said, well, bless my socks.
I saw it.
Did you see me? I'm bot worthy. I said, this is really all right that the people
bot worthy. My.
And they're just too dumb to live, some of the stuff they say. But the fact of the matter is that that is a pro concern as versus a reactionary concern. So I'm going to put that out there to our sister, Dr. Lightsey, and kind of tell me how does this go with you?
I so appreciate you saying this. You know, the current administration is they're transactional. You know, it's this for that. So you don't have a Marco Rubio sitting up in the White House not knowing that he's involved with a corrupt administration.
Come on.
He knows that.
Of course he knows.
You don't even have a Lindsey Graham who is unaware that he's involved with a corrupt administration.
Yeah.
Something has happened, as you point to, Bishop.
Yes.
That has gotten them hook, line, and sinker to do right. Mm-hmm. Even J.D. Vance got enough sense. He at one time, look, you even have, I don't look at him anymore, the Morning Joe.
Yeah. Something happened.
Back to the money issue.
Yes.
Okay? Yeah. It's not just the money, but technology happened.
Yes.
We're living in a kind of surveillance capitalism society.
Yes.
Here in the city of Chicago, you can barely walk outside your door and there's not a camera somewhere. I mean, how do you think they capture all these people going in these shops and doing all this? Even an accident on the street, you know, and
absolutely.
There are cameras all around. So surveillance is happening. So either they have something on them financially,
yes,
or technology has helped them. And that's my serious belief. That in and of itself is one thing, but the greater concern that I have is pastors being bought off.
Come on.
Pastors standing behind these thugs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pastors supporting this, and pastors getting in their pulpit, allowing the Black pastors,
Yes.
Latinx pastors, you know, it's just not white Christian evangelism.
No.
It is Christian nationalism, I mean, but there are Black and Latinx people that have bought into that kind of putrid way of theology and thinking about God. So for me, it's not that they're ignorant. I think that's a presenting aspect of this. We just think people are stupid enough to follow him, just stupid enough to do that. But I think that a great many people, they got something on them. It's either they've given them enough money or they've gotten enough data. To make them go whatever direction, say whatever they want them to say. That's part of what I mean, Bishop Brown, about the presenting problem. And we have to
absolutely. Yeah. Even as it relates to the press. As it relates to the press. Joy Reid, all of these people that are gone now. So the bottom line is that we can say it now, that even before she left off of the air, she has said that it was told to them that they could not just report on anything. They could only report. So this is about freedom of speech, that everybody's looking away, but that's a part of our constitutional right that's being trampled upon. She said that they were told that they were not to report on anything that wasn't in the news cycle. And if it wasn't in the news cycle, they could not report on it. And this was days before she was let go from her job. So we know that there's some kind of oppression. Something happened with MSNBC from the top, but it was an outward thing, right? To say, you got to stop all these people, get all these brown people off your show, and Black people right now, and all these people of color, and every person of color was eliminated. They only left Rachel Maddow, but they took her whole team.
Pay attention to this. Not just MSNBC, but CNN. And they were at the forefront during the last time he was in office of holding his feet to the fire and keeping a lot of things from happening. What happened between the last time and this time? They sharpened up, they got their pencils sharpened, and they've developed a plan that included an attack of the media. Now, attack the media is not just so that I'm asking you all to think even deeper. Attacking mainstream media, even lawsuits. Who was it? George Stephanopoulos.
Yes.
Against that station supposedly for something he said. It's not just to have them quiet. It's not just to get them off the air. But when you can't get your news from there, where are people now turning to get their news? Social media.
Absolutely.
And what happened with social media?
Well, they took all the fact checkers away.
You see what I'm getting at? So how are you going to get the truth? You got Don Lemon now going through YouTube and
Instagram.
And this is not new.
No, and
this is not new. This is Putin's playbook to the letter.
Thank you. The challenge I have when media go to Substack is they charge people to read it. We cannot. We're living in a time. I don't like trusted voices in the media turning to Substacks that people have to pay for. Because we need that information. The American public needs that genius. They need that kind of investigative reporting.
That's right.
And they would say, well, somebody has to pay the bills. I need to support. But there are other ways to get it. There are too many philanthropists out here who could help keep that knowledge free. And so again, that's presenting. Take them off the air, have the people look at social media, go through and all the bots feeding and all the the bad information, all the AI stuff. My God, if I have to see another AI thing where people just keep on passing on this stuff virtually without checking.
Right.
Without check. We have to check. And it's hard work, but we have to do it. We can't just pass it on.
So there is something to Bishop Flunder and to Dr. Lightsey, because you talked about pastors. So there's a biblical and an ethical lens that we kind of need to talk about. And a lot of churches really do struggle with confronting systemic injustice, period. That we know that, right? Being pastors, bishops, whatever the call is, as they operate, right? How do you theologically reconcile the tensions between offering comfort to the oppressed and issuing a prophetic challenge to the systems of power?
You can't do that overnight. As a pastor. So I pastor a church on the south side of Chicago. I do that because I love the church, not because I have to be a pastor. I willingly ask our episcopacy to put me back into a local church setting so I can use my gifts in the local church. So I'm not just talking about this. I'm trying to be about this in the academy and in the church and on the street. But you can't do that overnight. Bishop, what I have found, Bishop Brown, what I found is that with congregations, if I want to say something that's hard, it's about I walk in the door establishing a relationship so that the people eventually trust me and are willing to hear what I have to say. And I just, in any congregation, I do a lot of teaching in my sermons.
Yeah.
I mean, because I love the teaching, also because I believe that we have enough foolery in the pulpit. So
they do. And
the people are hungry for truth. I didn't go to seminary just to, lay everything on the side. As a matter of fact, beginning in April, every first and third Wednesday, I'm going to be having a virtual Bible study for the members of my church and anybody else that wants to come on board. We're going to do Hebrew Bible 101. Now, I'm not a Bible scholar, but I'm not leaving what I learned in seminary at the door.
Good for you.
And I plan to give it to the church. And when you do that kind of teaching, okay, you develop those kinds of relationships, then really you have responsibility to speak truth, whether or not the person that gives the most amount in tithes gets angry with and decides. Because again, it's about money. Are you going to be part of the capitalistic problem in the congregation?
Yep.
Are you going to let the love of God lead you? And the love of God compels me to speak truth. And I tell them in my church, if you don't like politics in the church, this is not the church for you. I'm not that hungry for members.
I'm hearing you.
I have to be free to speak the truth. And what's going on in our nation today is hurting people, hurting Black trans women, hurting the LGBTQ community, hurting women, hurting Black men.
Truth.
Okay. Hurting our children. Hurting migrants. We have to address that. And we cannot be afraid that the money bags will leave church.
Can I say something right here?
Yeah.
Please.
The other thing that I think there's a part of how this is done is certainly a part of what do people cost, essentially. What kind of money can you offer someone to grab a hold to what it is that you are trying to do in a negative way? What can you say to them? We'll build you another building. We'll buy you a car. And that's been going on for a great long time. As far back almost as I can remember. I can remember way back to Daddy Grace time, way back, okay. when it was just a wait. Everybody was, oh, hey, daddy, daddy, daddy. And everybody was giving all, and all the way through the different ones who came after him, who took it on from there. It was basically fundamentally giving your life, your money, your time, your self in all sorts of ways. But this kind of thing now, I think, and I hear Dr. Lightsey very clearly today, the espionage of this is to find out what do you have that's wrong? What have you done? Where have you been? Because one of the things that a lot of us who are faith leaders, we don't want our parishioners to know what we've done and where we've been and the situations we've been caught in. And then, so there's somebody who comes along, and I tell City of Refuge all the time, I didn't learn hardly anything from my successes. I learned things, yes, but I really learned who I really am by my mistakes. Those are the things that so there's a point at which you have to kind of glory in the fact that had you not made some mistakes, you would be extremely hard to get along with, because you would think that everything starts and stops with you. So these people know that everybody's got something, and they find your something. And once they find your something, they start blackmailing you and offering you something simultaneously. And that's why the reason I call it the Putin way. Once he was found out for what his intention was, if you understand, in terms of taking over his country, the next thing that he had to do was sanctify his non-sanctimonious self. He had to make who it was that he had become, he had to convince the people that it was what they wanted. And more, anybody who disagreed with him would disappear. Yeah. And disappear, yeah. And disappear until they took what was at one time perhaps right thinking and turned it into Trump thinking. Whatever I do is right. I'm a felon and I am the president of the United States. So whatever I do is right. And now we have been, in many ways, as people of faith, compromised because of our humanity. And because of our humanity, not telling the truth about our humanity. I got a lot of friends out there say, well, I just leave it all alone. Let me tell you what you're saying when you say that to me. You're saying that you don't want to get your name in the fray, because if you get your name in the fray, somebody who knows you and knows what you did on the day that you did it, yes, and how many times you did it, and that they can tell on you and tear your house down. It's the business police, Bishop Vanessa. It's the who knows your business police that can bring an end to 30 or 40 years of work.
That's why you got to tell on your own self. You can't wait for people to tell your business.
You all hear
tell your
Bishop
own stuff.
Tell
your own stuff. Own your stuff and tell it. Period.
The bigger issue is what you're trying to be is free.
Yes, liberate yourself.
And you can never be free when you know that people have something dangling over your head, or if you see something, somebody's gonna come in and tell everything. You can't be free. That
you can't be free.
You get free when you stop being concerned about what they will tell.
That's right.
And when you step into who you truly are. This is a whole nother thing also with pastors. Pastors who take money from the government if they can buy you, you cannot be free.
That's come on. Pastors, nonprofit organizations, you take that money, and at the end of the day, they expect for you to bow down and kiss the ring. And the day you say you are not going to bow down and kiss that ring, you can kiss it all goodbye.
Take the money back. And there are a lot of not-for-profits that depend upon government money.
Come on, sister.
Yes.
Built their nonprofit off of government money.
That's
There
right.
It's true.
are universities that there are tier one research institutions
Come
that
on,
are
Dr. Lightsey.
by government funding, and that funding the government is threatening to take
That's
that
right.
funding.
Yeah.
Who have been accepted into programs, research programs,
That's right.
now can't go to those research programs. Why?
That's right.
Because the money has been pulled back.
That's
The worst thing a not-for-profit can do is take money from the government, because government changes hands. Control of government changes every
I've been telling my people that for years. It's the truth.
And you can't be free. You can't be free as a pastor like that. And I'm concerned about HBCUs right now.
Right now. I'm so glad you brought that up.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm concerned about us.
I am too.
We have to be very concerned. You know, right now, kids are supposed to be getting their financial aid packets. They're not getting their financial aid packets from HBCUs. Kendrick got accepted to so many schools. He has yet to receive from an HBCU a financial aid packet yet. Why is that?
And look, go a step further. It's not just stopping the education of children, but what they want to do ultimately is the total collapse of liberal institutions.
Period.
Come on.
Especially seminaries. Let me just talk from I'm an academic. Most of our schools, especially the standalone institutions, even those that are embedded into universities, most students, as I said before, are there not on scholarships, because a lot of our schools can't afford a whole bunch of full rides for students. Not every student is going to get a full ride. Imagine how that's going to hurt enrollment.
Yes.
The students cannot get federal student loans. And if you can't enroll students, unless you got a major endowment to keep that institution going for years, you're looking at the closing and maybe at best the merger of a lot of schools. It is the destruction of liberal education, progressive liberal education. And they've already said they were going after that. They're shutting down gender studies at university embedded schools. They're shutting down African American studies in other schools. What's happening? Look at what happened.
And they're
destroying the arts.
Oh, yes, exactly.
They go after the things that are the easy marks first, like going after the trans community.
Yes.
Going after the trans community, not initially not initially the gay community.
Right.
Go after the trans community because they think that this target is easy and fast.
And nobody will come to their rescue.
And nobody cares to help. And they've done the statistics, Bishop Vanessa, because a lot of people who are same gender loving people who identify as gay don't particularly care what happens to trans people. So there's a group of people that they don't like, but they peeled off aside that even the people don't really put their hands and hearts into trying to help.
And that's the hard and terrible truth of that. That's a fact.
It is the truth.
That's bigotry within the minority rank.
This is what I'm talking. It's light skin and dark skin.
Yeah. Well, we've had it when it came to gay white men. The gay, they just want to be with black men because they were considered them exotic.
Exactly.
Want to marry them, just want to sleep with them.
Exactly.
So that kind of bigotry for a while. We understand that.
Yes.
Our responsibility. What is our responsibility?
Talk to us. Yes, that's our next question. Yeah.
Yes.
Our responsibility is to do the work of justice.
Yes.
To do the work of justice. We know God demands justice.
Yes.
Yes.
Work of justice comes through our hands with the help of the Lord. We have to be willing to do the work. Now, I'm gonna say this. You can't be in everything.
That's right.
No, you can't.
But I promise you, over the next 4 years, something's gonna come up that's gonna drive you to the streets.
That's it.
Going to the streets alone is not enough. They don't care. They could care less about us protesting in the streets.
They don't care.
What they really care about, two things they care about, if we did it in large numbers: voter registration.
Yep.
Yes.
They care about voter. If you're gonna have a protest, you need to have somebody set up to do some voter registration. I think we need to have in parking lots, church parking lots, need to set it up
about it.
To have voter registration. People putting up these beautiful churches, these beautiful mega churches, voter registration. That's one.
Controlling the polling place.
Oh yes, definitely so. The voter registration is one way. The second way is continued economic boycott.
Yeah,
that's it. Shut them down. Capitalism.
But you can shut some. I haven't ate at Chick-fil-A in decades, y'all.
They're good for you.
I don't know what they're cooking. I don't know what it is. I don't buy from them. When I don't buy from them. When I get angry about my money, I'm angry about my money. I don't go in that other little Hobby Lobby either. I don't do it. I can sustain it. I can't do everything. But what you can do, you absolutely should do. They shake and tremble when you talk about cutting that money off.
That's right. Boycott and register.
That's right. That's it. That's right. Boycott and register. Those are two very important things. And I will say this. I'm of a certain age. If they mess with that Social Security, America, let me just tell you this. I'm here. You got it on this recorder. Everybody listen to me.
Yes, ma'am.
If they mess with Social Security, America does not have enough jails to put all these senior citizens in.
I'm telling you.
The streets of America.
It's the truth.
We don't have enough jails.
I'm telling you.
It's going to be poor people. It's going to be Black people. It's going to be white people. There's just not enough space.
It's true.
The government does not have enough federal prisons.
That's right.
To put seniors in if they mess with that Social Security. So
I'm telling you.
It's an issue for everybody.
Yep.
Yes.
If the people lead, the leaders follow. And even if they are despots, if the people could wake up understanding that this is not our daddy, okay, this man does not have,
and he's not our king.
Come on, unless we allow it to happen. And the way I talk about it, honest to God, Reverend Dr. Pamela Lightsey, I talk about it from red lights. Bishop Vanessa's heard me say this before. We stop at red lights because we are programmed.
Yes.
That's why we stop. I have done it many a time in the middle of the night, driving by myself, nobody coming to the left, nobody's coming to the right. It's just me, and I'm stopping at a red light, thinking to myself, ain't nobody out here but me, but it's still a red light. I'm trained to stop at a red light. There is nothing at all that the police could ever do if everybody said this red light is foolishness. That's what this is. It's absolutely foolish. And I tell you what, we are just not going to do this. If it's a car coming, I'm going to stop. But if it's not a car coming, I'm just not going to. And there aren't enough police officers. There aren't enough people who are in charge that can stop the red light mania. What they would have to do is come up with something else. Because when the people lead, the leaders follow. And I am clear that the intention is to terrorize us such that now the politicians are backing up and terrorized. Many of the people who have money in the banks are thinking that we're about to have another one of those recessions like what happened in the history of this country. And you want to make sure that your dollar is worth. this and that and this and that. Not only in this country, but every country that has been on Trump's list that he wants to do something to, not do something with.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to do something to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
With this tariff foolishness. He wants to do something too with it. It's like, how dumb stupid is that? If we charge them a gazillion dollars for a can opener made in China, we charge them all they got to do is send it to the rest of the world. It's a whole lot of world that is not the United States.
Yes.
And for the life of me, I cannot understand why, if it's a real thinking that we won't essentially take products from you if you don't give us X number percentage of this and that. But I've come to the conclusion that that's not really what it is. Because as soon almost as he says it, it changes.
Mm-hmm.
It turns.
Yeah, of course. Sure.
I think it goes back to what Dr. Lightsey is talking about from the very beginning, that it's a matter of keeping people in terror all the time, keeping whole countries mad, keeping whole manufacturing spaces angry. It's brilliant. The 2025 thing is not just for the United States, it's for the whole world as we know it. Because all of a sudden, all of these countries are deeply involved and engaged. It's, well, if you're going to charge us 10% more, we're going to charge you 15% more. Well, if you're going to charge us 15%, but then we're going to charge you 20% more. At the end of the day,
tick for tack is foolish.
It's possible that the whole thing will go away.
Sure.
But they got to bring their fight to the ring, just like Trump is bringing his fight to the ring, and get us all thinking about that. While what is really happening is what it was that Dr. Lightsey is talking about right now. The diminishment of people of color, the diminishment of women, the diminishment of education, having everybody terrified about their jobs so that they do not know what to do. That is the intention that we have, that they have, even if they know the thing is not going to work. They get up in the morning trying to figure out a way to get us talking about what we're talking about right now. Okay.
Yeah, Dr. Lightsey.
Yeah.
There, somewhere in that sermon, I talked about Habakkuk.
Yep.
In that second chapter.
Talk about
you
it.
Did.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't know where, but I will stand at my watch post.
Yes.
Every time, and I'm gonna be on my watch.
My God.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we need to be doing.
Yep.
Being on the watch.
Yep.
How are you on the watch? Not just looking.
Yep.
But the watch post was the most dangerous place in the city.
That's right.
Yeah. You the first, you on the lookout. You're at the watch post. Some of us,
come on, preacher,
have dedicated our lives. We put our finances. Bishop Flunder, you put your career in jeopardy. You put your money in jeopardy. Some of us put a lot of our personal well-being. We put at jeopardy to do this kind of work. And this is watch post work.
Yes.
Really, it is watch. You talk about the bots coming after you.
Yeah.
I know you have had people threaten your life. I've had people threaten my life. And Bishop Vanessa, I know you've had it. There is no way that we can do this kind of work with the intensity. I'm not talking about, we do it with a kind of fierceness, a kind of intensity. And it's not lost on me that we are Black women having this conversation.
That's right.
That's right.
We do it with a kind of intensity, and we recognize that the work we do puts our lives, puts our well-being in jeopardy. Yes. But why do we stand on that watch post?
Yeah.
Why do we stand on that watch post?
Yes.
Because we really want a better future.
Yes.
And we really want the city to survive. It's not about us.
That's right.
Right.
Post about me.
That's right.
My life is in jeopardy. I'm
Yes.
on that watch post for the city.
Yes.
Because at the point at which, here you go, Bishop Flunder, back to your image. At the point at which we decide we're not going to stop, nobody's going to stop for the red lights anymore, we got chaos.
Yep, it's true.
Because look, how do you feel when you sit? They do it here in Chicago. I'm sitting at a red light on Sunday morning, waiting for the red light to change. Woman just goes around me and passes through the red light to get on the highway, and I'm looking like, well, girl, you crazy. You know, this woman is crazy. Okay. Yes. But there are a lot of people that are willing to go through the red light.
Come on, sister.
There are a lot of people that are willing to go through the red light, and it takes folks like us to stay there for the people behind us. You know, we're holding them up.
Yes, no, it's true.
I'm just using the imagery, the illustration you gave.
Yeah,
we do this not for ourselves, but for the sake of the city. For the sake
we think about Soweto. We think about Martin. What I'm so convinced that he knew that somebody would try to kill him.
Yeah,
because he put his foot way out there in deep water. But and I hate that he died. He was like a child to me, almost in age now, this time in my life.
Yeah,
it saddens me, but it turned it. When he died, it turned it. I think about the children in Soweto, Bishop Vanessa, when they absolutely were opposed to apartheid. And they got out and they marched and they marched and they marched. And the white people cut them down with rifles.
Yes, they did.
But it changed everything the next day.
Mm-hmm.
The next day, it changed everything. It was, you know, it saddens me that Mandela had to go to jail. I think it was horrible, hateful, but there was a day coming that the people kept on, and it changed everything. And I think the question that Dr. Lightsey is putting before us, what I know what we're going to say. At the end of the day, what are we going to do?
Yes.
Yeah.
Where are we going to put our bodies in this?
What's the call to action? Yes.
What is the call to action? What do we say? How do we cover our schools? We have athletes that are also millionaires.
Oh, yes.
And gazillionaires. Yes. And some of them are now putting their money into our schools to keep them in place. If we don't need Musk, what do we have? What has God put in our hands?
What are our resources
to do? Come on now.
Yeah.
Come on now. Because it may take that. And not going to Target. Target lost a bazillion dollars.
Oh, yeah. And we'll keep losing it too.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, they will.
They will. We are never going again, as far as I'm concerned.
We are at the cusp of an economic revolution of the people.
We are.
I believe that.
I love it.
Really believe that the people are going to show the 1% who are really in charge.
Right.
But we're going through right now. But I just believe in a God who sees beyond the presenting problem.
Yes.
And I'm not saying it's going to get right away. How long? I'm not saying it's going to get right on my time right away. But I believe that God's ways, in God's time, and in God's that God's going to fix it. But I also believe that the resolution that we seek when it comes, we can't sit back and say, okay, now we did it. Because this has taught us that evil is relentless.
I'm telling
Come
you.
on.
Relentless. And you can't sit back and rest on
they'll be back.
Overcoming evil for one period of time. Evil will put on a different suit.
Yes.
Will fix his hair a different way. Yes. And will come in through your back door.
Yes, ma'am.
Right.
Through your mom and them back door. Your mom raised you. Your mom now voting for Trump. You never expected it.
What the hell? That's the truth. You're right.
You never expected it. They talking about that. So we have to be vigilant.
Yes.
and we can't rest, we can't turn around.
You know what speaks to me too, Nessa? You know how I'm sorry, I'm calling it Nessa. I've been calling it Nessa.
It's all right. I'm Nessa.
I'm sorry, Bishop Nessa. Forgive me.
I'm good.
I am thinking about the times that we have preached about the cicada, about the and
Yes.
how you understand about and for some of you all that may not know anything about the cicada, these folks, there are folks that really do know in DC and in New York and some other places and in the South. The cicada, great big old roachy looking grasshopper, and the different forms of them, and they have a time that they come out of the ground. They come up, they come out as little wormy looking little things, and then they kick that off and they get their wings, and they voraciously eat anything that they desire to eat. Take all the fruit out of a farm area, take all of the leaves off a tree, whatever it is that they decide to do. Once they get full, they drop to the ground and they lay eggs into the ground, go down sometimes 15, 17 years before they come back up. What Dr. Lightsey is saying to us today is that we not only need to understand that the cicada comes back, that evil comes back regularly, we're going to have to go in the ground where they have set up their own places to live, their own domination, that where they have are planning for the next time they're going to use that dominating spirit and come back again.
Yes.
What we're used to doing is killing them on the surface and then thinking that we're done. That, I think, is the mistake of our community and of people who are righteous.
Yeah.
We think of things ending perhaps when I die, when I come to die, or I'm coming to die. I'm getting older and I can let it go. But the truth is, we got to dig deeper where they are going to sleep. This 2025 has been a plan for a long, long time. That is now
40 years in the making. 40 years.
They had to have a fool like Trump to make it happen.
Yeah.
And it happened. They got him. He was the cicada under the ground waiting for an opportunity with so much to lose. He was a felon. He was almost to go to jail. He would do anything. Anything they ask him to do, anything. You notice his own children won't even talk about him these days. He would do anything. So you hear my heart.
Go ahead, Dr.
You hear the heart of this preacher.
We hear you, Bishop.
Get this word. Take it with you.
I'm glad you're saying this. You know, this reminded me, I don't know if it's tangential or what, but you know, I read on social media, people say, quit saying what you're going to do on social media. Quit telling them what our plans are. And I take issue with that.
I do too.
I take issue with that. First of all, think about it. You're trying to control millions of people's voices through a medium none of us have any control with. Okay?
Exactly.
Even when we didn't have social media, even when we didn't have social media, you go all the way back to slaveocracy. Hell, Nat Turner rose up and somebody told what he was doing. So you have a history. This human nature here. Talking about human nature. Talking about just stop talking about it. Stop. And some things. And I'm a veteran. The veteran part of me is saying some things they need to know are coming. That's it. That's a strategy in and of itself.
Yes, ma'am.
Period.
It's gonna happen, and they can't do nothing about it.
Yes, they can't do nothing about it. I put out a call, Dr. Lightsey. I said, we are the prophets. We are the seers. We are the mediums. We are the Babalals. We are the priestess. We are the apostles. We are the bishops. All of these things, we need everybody. And I was told that I shouldn't put that up there because it was,
I didn't tell her not to.
Blah, blah, blah. No, you didn't tell me, but someone else told me that I should take it down. Only to find out that they ended up having a meeting that they didn't invite me to. After I was the person to put up the post, I wasn't even invited to the meeting.
Yeah, this desire to try to control people and their passion for revolution.
No, you can't. Yeah,
you do that.
To make everybody follow you. People gonna follow who they want to follow, whoever it is.
That's right.
Some of these are great ideas. I preached about this Sunday. One planteth, another watereth, but God gives the increase.
God gives the increase.
You put it out there on social media and you can't do anything with it, but you have the idea. You've got the inspiration. Somebody else will pull from your inspiration and walk on. You see what I'm saying? Right. So all of our gifts, all of our creativity, all of the things that we're thinking about, speak those things into existence as though they were. Don't we talk about that in church? Speak into existence. Then say with them. Then say just think about it. The Bible says speak it into existence.
Speak it. Hallelujah. I receive that word. Just to say it. And then if we say it, God willing, we'll do it.
Yes.
And what shall we say to these things? This is my scripture. If God be for us.
If God be for us.
Who has the power?
Come on.
To be against us, comma, this is the Flunderism, except us. The only one that has the power to be against us is if we are against ourselves.
Yes.
If God be for us, there is no outside something that can destroy us. If God is on the front of this work, and I believe it with my whole heart. I hope that you all that are hearing us tonight can hear our hearts, because in a strange way, there for a moment, we heard yours. Speaking into this atmosphere. This foolishness needs to begin to end.
Yes.
And I believe, what shall we say? If God is for us, who can be against us? Get ready. Get your comfortable shoes and your tennis shoes, and you put your head back in a bun and get ready. Well, those of you that can, Bishop Vanessa, she can just get Dr. Lightsey does so much. But it is time for us to find some folks to talk to do something. It's time to do something. If I perish, I perish. That was the way that our foreparents believed enough. That's the way Martin believed. That's the way Malcolm believed.
Yes.
If it costs me everything, if it means that what comes after me will be greater, then thanks be to God. And let's kill the cicadas underground. I'm sick of this.
And this goes, Dr. Lightsey, Bishop Flunder, this really goes back to this whole thing is replaying in my mind of Dr. Renita Williams, Where Are the Smiths? The same way. She was on last week and talked about it. You're on this week. It's the same way you all preached back in 2017. And so, we're being carried off into Babylon, but we got creative power. Where are the creatives? Where are the people? Because there's something that needs to be done.
Yeah, it needs to be done. And we should don't be weary that everybody is not going to join us.
That's right.
That's right. It's okay.
Never had a civil rights movement with 100% participation of all Black people.
No, they did not. No, they didn't. Listen,
they didn't. I'm saying we can't all come together. Baby, that ain't never been.
That's exactly.
It's never been. It's never been. Adam Clayton Powell did not join Martin Luther King. Philip Randolph did not join Martin Luther King. They were angry and they wanted him to shut up and be quiet.
And don't make the white people mad.
Right.
Know the history.
We they look at what they did during the Montgomery bus boycott. Everybody stayed off the buses. No, that's a lie.
That's right.
Everybody stayed off the buses.
That's right. You're right.
Not everybody stayed off. Look at history. There were some people that got on those buses.
That's right.
Yes.
Tell the whole truth about our people. But we had a large enough number who participated.
That's right.
And the people knew what was happening because they were writing it. They had flyers out in the community at church. The white people knew they were going to stay off the buses. They knew that strategy, and it still worked.
It's true.
Yes.
So let's stop. Bishop Flunder, you're right. Let's stop attacking ourselves.
That's right.
Yes.
attacking ourselves and keeping ourselves before we and keeping ourselves from doing the work. Let's do the work.
Let's do the work. And I forgive you for voting wrong.
Yes.
For voting wrong or for not voting. I'm going to forgive you, but you're going to have to put some do-right in you.
Come on.
Yes, because we got work to do.
Because my feelings, I'm still in my feelings.
Feeling your feelings, I understand.
But if they put some do-right in it, I'll work with them.
Yeah, get some do-right in you. I mean, I've made some mistakes too. Get some do-right in and see if we can stop trying to justify what we now know was wrong.
That's it.
That's right.
And let's move into our what's next. Thanks be to God. What a wonderful conversation. Thanks be to God.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Lightsey. Thank you so much, Bishop Flunder. And thank you to our listening audience, to Facebook and Instagram and YouTube and everybody that's on. We appreciate hearing from you all tonight. We're going to go back to the comments. We'll see different things. And some of us will respond to some of the things that you're saying. But know that we hear you. Know that the fight is still in us. Right? This is not over by a long shot. And like they said tonight, find out what is it that you're going to do. You can't do everything, but there's something that you can do. And I hope that you find it. Go ahead, Dr. Lightsey.
No, and just stick with it because evil is reoccurring all the time. You got to stick with it.
All the time. All the time. We love you tonight. Thank you all so much. We got 2 advertisements we want to say to you really quickly. And then we're going to leave you. Want to make sure you support. Go ahead, Bishop. Go ahead.
You go ahead.
We want to make sure you support Beyond the Gatekeepers tonight. We appreciate what you're about to do. Support our broadcast by sending a donation in to PayPal at www.paypal.me/TFAMJustice to help move this work forward. And our second announcement, Bishop Flunder is going to make.
God bless each of you who are with us tonight. It is so important how good and how pleasant it is for kindred to dwell together in unity. Over this particular broadcast and the one just before stirred us up, stimulated us, TFAM, for what we did not know was about to happen in our lives and in our churches, in our schools, and so forth and so on. And we lived off of such good preaching and interfacing with one another. God bless Dr. Lightsey, and God bless all of those who shared with us. And you'll hear some of those voices again when we get together, June 30th through July 6th. When we get together, powerful, powerful things come from those gatherings. I want to encourage you with our theme. We still dance, we still protest, we still love. And we still believe. I invite you to Holy Convocation 2025. We need it for 2025. God bless you. Looking forward to seeing you.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Join us next week. We have Dr. Marilyn Turner Triplett. We have not talked about the children. What about the children? She has a book called Justice for Riskless Children, Radical Responses to Childhood Poverty. We need to talk about the children in this climate, in this political atmosphere. It's important. Join us next week. We love you so much. We thank you for joining us, and we say God bless you.
Bless you.